Welcome back to the Farmer's Ledger. Today we're unearthing the cold frame tactics that helped people survive the brutal winters of World War II. Every calorie was precious, and hunger was a daily adversary. The Dig for Victory campaigns were more than slogans, they were survival strategies. When snow buried the land, necessity forced innovation. We've uncovered 10 ingenious cold frame designs built from the wreckage of war. These makeshift structures trapped warmth and sunlight, turning devastation into hope. Let's dig into the first design that defied winter's grip. After air raids, shattered sash windows became a lifeline for resourceful gardeners. Timber frames or brick bases, whatever could be found, supported these salvaged panes, sometimes hinged, sometimes just weighted down. Thick, imperfect glass trapped precious sunlight, creating a microclimate beneath. Insulation came from earth or straw packed around the edges, keeping out the biting wind. Inside, hardy greens and root crops pushed through, shielded from frost. Each salvaged window became a portal to survival, coaxing life from the frozen ground. Out of destruction, these cold frames symbolized hope and resilience. Damaged Anderson shelters offered another resource. Curved corrugated steel sheets. Sunk into the earth, these sheets formed a reflective, heat-absorbing back wall for cold frames. The steel's curve concentrated sunlight by day and radiated warmth by night. Scavenged glass or oiled cloth covered the top, angled south to catch the low winter sun. Heavy and fortress-like, these frames nurtured seeds that would otherwise perish in the snow. They turned the tools of war into instruments of nourishment. Even in chaos, adaptation meant survival. When materials ran out, gardeners dug down, creating sunken pit frames. Trenches lined with scrap timber or bricks used the earth's insulation to shield crops. Glass lids sloped to catch sunlight, while warmth rose from below. Leafy greens and roots thrived in this hidden spring, even as winter raged above. The sunken pit frame was a buried promise, life hidden from winter's wrath. In the countryside, sod blocks cut from pasture became living walls for cold frames. Stacked thick, these sods insulated crops from wind and frost, held firm by their own weight. Salvaged glass or oilcloth topped the frame, trapping warmth and moisture inside. The living wall sometimes sprouted wildflowers, blending frame and meadow. No nails or mortar, just earth, strength and determination. This ancient design proved that survival could be rooted in the land itself. Wartime revived the Victorian hotbed, drawing heat from fresh horse manure beneath a sturdy frame. As the manure decomposed, it released steady warmth, creating a spring-like microclimate. Scavenged boards or bricks formed the frame, topped with a sloping glass lid. Radishes, lettuce and carrots flourished in this living engine of survival. Maintaining a hotbed took vigilance, manure replenished, temperatures watched. But in the coldest months, the hotbed was a lifeline, channeling nature's cycles to cheat the frost. Old knowledge, reborn for desperate times. The thermal mass brick wall frame was a masterclass in survival physics. A thick, blackened brick wall on the north side absorbed sunlight by day, releasing heat at night. Sloped glass above, lined with straw or rags, added insulation. This steady warmth let hardy crops mature through deep winter. simple, effective and resourceful, making the most of what was available. The Chase Continuous Cloche brought mobility to the fight against frost. Rows of glass cloches held by wire hoops formed protective tunnels over crops. Easily moved and repaired, these cloches sheltered tender seedlings and allowed for rolling harvests. Repurposed glass and wire made them endlessly adaptable. In wartime chaos, the continuous cloche was a lifeline for those with more hope than materials. Flexibility and speed became survival tools. The tent cloche was simplicity itself. Two glass panes leaned together, held by wire or scrap metal. Deployed in moments, it sheltered vulnerable seedlings from cold and wet. Sunlight poured in, while rain and snow slid off the angled glass. Materials were mismatched, but every pane was pressed into service. Quick to adjust, the tent cloche was a portable refuge for tomorrow's harvest. In relentless cold, speed and ingenuity made all the difference. City dwellers built triangular glass frames on balconies, leaning them against warm apartment walls. Salvaged glass and makeshift frames captured sunlight and building heat, nurturing greens in a few inches of soil. Microclimates swung quickly, so daily checks were vital. Even a handful of spinach or cress was a victory against urban hunger. The balcony lean-to was both lifeline and quiet resistance. Survival found a foothold above the chaos. The fortified window box frame turned a humble window box into a tiny greenhouse. A pitched glass roof trapped warmth, while the box was lined for insulation and moved to the sunniest spot. Herbs and radishes thrived, roots warmed by sun and building heat. Air circulated, frost was kept at bay, and daily care made all the difference. With scraps of glass and soil, hope grew in the smallest spaces. Even today, this design proves that life can flourish anywhere. These cold frames weren't about looks. They were about survival and outsmarting winter. Each design was a response to scarcity, built by hands that refused to surrender. By learning from these tactics, we preserve vital knowledge and secure our own food future. If you found this deep dive valuable, subscribe to the Farmer's Ledger and share it with others who value food independence. Together we honour the past and safeguard the future, one cold frame at a time.